My name is Dr. Elizabeth Yu. I am an orthopedic spine surgeon at The Ohio State University, Wexner Medical Center. I was invited to speak on the Career Building Symposium, specifically on interacting with NASS. I'm hoping that my talk will help show you opportunities that NASS provides that as residents and fellows you may not be aware of. So I have no disclosures relevant to this talk. So why is getting involved in NASS and other organizations important? Well, other organizations allow for networking opportunities. They allow for advancement of your education as you are progressing along in your career. It also provides professional development as well as reinforcing intrinsic values. It provides job opportunities if for some reason you're interested in changing locations of work for one reason or another. And it also helps one have a voice in the government with political influence. So we're going to break down in our previous slide each goals of our talk. And so first is networking. So networking, as you're aware, is very important. As a trainee in residency or in fellowship, you interact with your colleagues as well as your attending physicians. But once you get out into the job force, you have your your previous co-residents and co-fellows as well as your mentors. But how do we expand that network beyond the people that we work with in our job? And this is where NASS as well as other organizations help with this. They allow us to deepen existing relationships. They allow us to forge new contacts as you attend meetings or get involved in committees of organizations. You interact with people that you may not have otherwise crossed paths. They allow for mentorship, especially when you find or meet someone that has similar career goals, and they may have been in your position 5, 10, 15 years ago and are able to provide you of advice. They also provide support. And lastly, as I mentioned earlier, you can get involved beyond being just a member of these organizations, specifically NASS, but also be involved in the committees to help shape that organization. Other organizations, NASS, allow for education, continuing education. So specifically for NASS, the journals are many times published through their organizations. With NASS specifically, it's called Spineline. There are also online resources that are exclusive to that organization. Specifically for NASS, there are message boards, there's databases that one can query of cases that other physicians or surgeons provide and ask for opinions from other surgeons that could be, or other providers and physicians that could be from around, not only within their city, but their state and their country, and even worldwide, because many of these organizations, particularly NASS, is a worldwide organization, and allows you again to connect with people that you would never have connected with within your own community. There are educational videos that are recorded. There are also courses that NASS as well as some organizations provide. An example is spinal injections, coding, a whole plethora of items that later on in the talk we'll go to the NASS website and kind of navigate somewhat through it. So NASS provides access, as well as other organizations, to specific types of journals. So if you are not necessarily in an academic center where you have access to numerous journals and you perhaps just need one article or several articles from various journals, many times these organizations provide you access, and their subscription is already included in your membership fee. NASS, as well as other organizations, allow you to stay up to date. in your training, as well as in your surgical skills and medical knowledge. Allows you to see what's the latest and greatest out there, industry trends and advances in technology. NASS provides, as I mentioned earlier, professional development and intrinsic value. So what does that exactly mean? So as you graduate, continuing medical education will be important, and you need those continuing medical education or CME credits to retain your license. NASS provides courses that allow, and when you attend their meetings, such as this one, you're able to get the CME credits so that you could submit for continuation of your license. They allow you training and mastery of particular skills. So perhaps during your training, there was a specific type of procedure that you was not performed often in your institution, or a new skill has developed during the time that you are now out in practice. And so how can you develop, and you're interested in learning the skill? So many times NASS or other specialty organizations will have these training sessions or these cadaveric courses that one can attend to build that skill. This touches upon, again, like courses that I just mentioned earlier. That say you're also interested in research. Funds and costs are important. Many times one can apply for grants. So NASS has grants that one can apply for to be able to support your research. And other subspecialty organizations have this. And this is a great resource as a member that you can tap into. Networking and research collaboration, there's overlap. And so you can imagine you network with somebody who perhaps also shares the same research interests as you. And this allows at an organization level that you're able to interact with them, and they may have projects that they would invite you to be on, and vice versa. And lastly, many organizations such as NASS provide traveling fellowships. And what traveling fellowships are is the opportunity to be able to travel to other countries or other sites within your current country and see how other surgeons practice and how they approach certain diseases. This is an example of a traveling fellowship. So this is specifically of the American Orthopedic Association. And they have a list of traveling fellowships on their website. And I mentioned earlier about international or national fellowships. And so there's a North American one. There's the Japanese Orthopedic Association, American British Canadian traveling fellowship, Austrian Swiss German fellowship, and orthopedic surgery residents or fellows probably have heard of the American Orthopedic Association. And this is just an example of an organization offering traveling fellowships. NASS, as well as other organizations, allow for leadership and speaking opportunities. So for example, as you attend the different courses within NASS, this NASS meeting currently, I'm sure you see that there are a lot of speakers, and once you become involved in organizations and as you become more prominent, you're invited to these talks so that you can then share your knowledge with other people, as well as be able to meet with other people that are on the panel. And again, it goes back to networking. You all can also become involved in committees that align with, again, what your interests are. What's very important for these organizations is start early. And the reason for that is when you start early, you can slowly work your way up from member of an organization to then a committee member to perhaps even a chair of a committee, and really make an impact in that organization. But of course, you want to make sure that you're interested in that organization and you're interested in that topic because you also have a clinical practice, and you want to make sure you have a good balance. Um, these organizations also, when you're given the opportunity for speaking, it establishes yourself as an expert in your field. The NASS, as well as other organizations, allow for your ability, if you are looking for a job, to be able to find them. So many of NASS particularly does have a job board. So if you're in the process of looking for a job, which perhaps many of the fellows are currently, you can go onto this website and you can go specific to that link. And if we many times at physical meetings, which this year's a little different, there are job fairs, and you can go, and many times you are able to even meet potential employers for a job. Political influence. So depending on how active one wants to be, these organizations such as NASS and other subspecialty organizations such as an orthopedic surgeon, ours is called the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, do have a arm or section specifically towards interacting with the government so that they can affect federal and state legislation rules. There are also state societies that you can be involved in. So specifically, since I'm in Ohio, there's the Ohio Orthopedic Association, and they have an arm that's involved in a political section. And then you have your national societies, as I mentioned earlier, NASS, and for me, it's AAOS for the neurosurgeons, AANS, and other similar specialties. So what's out there? I've kind of touched upon why organizations are so important and why it's important to be involved, but there are a lot of organizations, and you need to decide which one you feel is best for you. There are a lot of subspecialties, and the reason why you want to choose what's best for you is because you want to have enthusiasm and you want to do well when you join these organizations, specifically if you join the committees. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. And so I'm just kind of going through not all, but a lot of the various organizations that are out there that are spine related. And so as you can see, there's a plethora of them. And so you want to make sure you don't overcommit yourself. So how do you choose? You want to choose one that matches your interests. You want to choose a recognized and well-established organization so that there is some structure. NASS is a great one. It's a broad organization, and there are so many different facets of NASS that many times you will be able to find something that aligns with your interests. Of note, some organizations are closed, and what that means is you do need a letter of recommendation from current members, and the members themselves evaluate your application to decide if you would be a good fit for that society. Some societies or organizations have limited membership, and some have specific criteria that once you are a part of the organization, you have to attend so many meetings, you have to submit so many abstracts, and so forth. You want to try to learn what your niche will be so that it matches your interests, and you want that motivation to excel when you're part of that organization. Now, time commitment is always a challenge. So as you're starting off, you're pulled in many, many different directions. You want to make your name known in the community. You want to do a good job clinically. Perhaps you come from a place that you also want to do a lot of research, but you want to make sure, again, that you do a good job with these organizations. And you need to know your limits. And sometimes that can be hard. So you really want to think about how involved you want to be and what you want to be involved in. So for NASS, there are numerous opportunities. As I mentioned earlier, NASS is a great organization starting off to be involved in. They have grants, so if you're interested in research, as I mentioned earlier, organizations give you that opportunity to be able to be involved in research in the sense that they can provide some funding that you would apply for, obviously. And so NASS has a grants and awards section. They also have the Spine PAC, which is the political involvement portion of the organization. They have their career event. So this is last year. This is all in relation to in-person meeting. Of course, this year's a little different. but now everything this year is more web-based, but their opportunities are still available. And then there are various courses, and many courses, even though they used to be in person, courses are still continuing, but they're virtual courses. Like right now, we have our virtual national meeting. So how do you get involved in NASS, particularly for their committees? So this is a screenshot of the website, and what I can do is specifically go to the NASS website and we can navigate through it. But the NASS website is spine.org, or you could Google NASS Spine. And up in the heading, you'll see membership. And so if you click on that, this should be good. So membership, when you scroll down, you'll have the different member benefits. So if you click on that, you can see that, just as we had mentioned earlier, they have courses that can advance your learning. They have a career advancement section. They have a political section. They have a research grant section. They also give you access to the Spine Journal, which is a peer-reviewed journal that is referenced. And so that's one of the examples of journal access. If you don't have them, that's included in your membership. If we scroll down some more, we can go specifically into committees. So if you're interested in committees, it would be, I saw it earlier. I think you actually have to log in, but we will get specifically into this. If I go back, when you click on committees, you should be able to see various committees that you can apply for. And so this is a screenshot. There's the annual program committee, there's an audit committee, advocacy committee, there's the ability to apply to review for the Spine Journal, review the abstracts that come through because it is a peer-reviewed journal. There is an application process that you would apply for, and there's set terms that you're on the committee. And once you're on it, if you enjoy it, you may be able to work your way up from a member, as I mentioned, to a chairperson of that committee. Hopefully, you'll have the opportunity to go to the NASS website and kind of sift through and see all the different types of membership opportunities. And I hope you strongly consider becoming a member not only of NASS, but looking into other organizations as you start your career to help network, build relationships, help you with job opportunities, advancement of courses, and ways to advance yourself in your career. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you for your time.